How's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast back with another video for you guys. And with this one, we'll be doing a quick review of The Possession, which was released in 2012, directed by Ule Bonodo. Hopefully I said that name correctly. Written by Juliet Snowden, Styles White, and starring Natasha Callis, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Kyra Sedgwick, and many, many others. And when I first saw this particular movie, or at least when it first came out, because I saw it in theaters, I to an extent, I thought this was going to be some kind of generic possession film. Because I'm just going to say, because just to give you a quick premise of, as it's described in IMDb, a young girl buys an antique box at a yard sale, and to kind of add to that, things start becoming, crazy. Actually, crazy is not the best word. Horrible things start happening around the little girl, and it's or at least brought to the attention of the father that the child might be possessed, and her life may very well be in danger. Now, when I first saw this film, or at least saw anything on it, I first thought it was going to be just a typical possession film. That was my thoughts on the movie. But as I watched the movie, it was something a little bit different. For starters, when it comes down to the demon itself that they're trying to defeat, they kind of pull a spin where it's not like a Christian-based entity, but more of a Jewish-based entity. And I gotta say, it was actually a really interesting situation. The characters themselves, at least when it comes down to the father, the two daughters, or at least one of the main daughter who gets possessed, you kind of feel a bond between the two of them, and to a great degree have like I guess get that emotion of that this girl needs to be saved like ASAP, because it's made very clear, like when they research the entity, especially the box itself, that things are going to spiral out of control, and there will be fatalities due to this box. So I'm gonna say the stakes that are set up for us is made apparent, and actually, well, I will say well done to a certain degree. Now, I gotta say something, because I don't want to sound like I'm completely going to shit on this, but I'm just gonna say it as it is, at least in my point of view. When it came down to it, especially when it came to like every single situation, and it could be because I've seen a lot of horror films at this point, it started to feel predictable. You have the adults, or the parents of the main girl who's being possessed, they're divorced, so it's an estranged family. So, and considering the fact that the demon feeds on negative emotion, there's gonna be that. You're gonna have a variety of different people who are gonna be unsuspecting victims to the box or the entity, and each of them either get horribly harmed, or if anything, killed. We get the near the very end where it's the possession, and to a degree, especially when it comes to the whole divorce situation, we have the douchebag boyfriend, who, by the way, gets his comeuppance because he's dick. So, yeah, that's always fun. So, as much as I like some of the characters, some of the character interactions, at least for the main family, there were certain things that, again, were very, very, very predictable. Now, just to go over it, just the whole thing. Characters are great. The setup, or at least how they spin the whole exorcism, haunting scenario, is actually pretty cool. And, by the way, they don't show the demon, which is good. I mean, not counting near the very end, but I think, if anything, I'm just going to safely say you barely see it anyways, besides a few flashes. But other than that, you don't see it, or at least to a certain degree. Oh, wait, no, I take that back, because there is another scene. I don't want to go into too much into it, but and I will admit, it's actually a really cool scene. But anyways, you have, you barely see the entity itself. But unfortunately, there are a few things that are predictable in this film. Again, like when it comes down to the family situation, the douchebag boyfriend, the people who unfortunately, who either are trying to help or being dicks, are the ones that end up getting their comeuppance. It's just, and also, by the way, another thing too, where it's like, oh, they don't succeed near the very end. So, with everything, I'm kind of struggling to figure out what I want to give this. Because and to some extent, I don't want to like give it a 10, because again, it's one of those situations where it's not 100% good. Okay. Crap. I think I'm gonna give this a 7. Yeah, I think, again, besides it being predictable, I'm docking 3 points due to some of the predictable things that I mentioned. But other than that, it's actually a really good movie. With how everything's set up, the kind of spin with the exorcism genre, and just above all, to some extent, the stakes are made real, especially when it comes down to the bond between the father character and the daughter character. And heck, again, it's a teenage girl being possessed by a freaking demon. If anything, the stakes should be high right there. But anyway, so 7 out of 10. That's gonna be my rating for this movie. What are your thoughts? Love to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one, and take care. Peace.